Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to Shankaran IA Study Circle. This is Dr. Harinath Reddy, Director of the Institute. Today in this particular video, we will try to discuss about differences in the passage of an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill by the Indian Parliament. So this area is important for the mains exam, both UPSC mains, TSPSC Group 1 mains and APPSC Group 1 mains. There can also be questions, multiple choice questions in the form of statements on this particular topic. Fine. So differences in the passage of an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill. So though there are few similarities, but there are a large number of differences in the passage of an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill. Let us see the similarities. A bill which is meant for amending the constitution and even an ordinary bill, it can be introduced in either house of the parliament. So these two categories of the bills, an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill, both can be introduced either in the Lok Sabha or in the Rajya Sabha. Then the other similarity is these two bills can be introduced either by a minister or by a private member. So what do you mean by a private member? A private member is a member of parliament who is not a minister. So don't be under the impression that a private member means that he is not a member of parliament. A private member is a member of parliament who is not a minister. So there are two categories of bills on this basis: government bills, private member bills. A government bill is a bill which is introduced by the minister in the government. A private member bill is a bill which is introduced by a member of parliament who is not a minister. So these are the two similarities between an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill. To repeat, they can be introduced in either house of the parliament and they can be introduced by either minister or a private member, a member of parliament who is not a minister. And what are the differences? If you see the differences, a constitutional amendment bill needs to be passed by a special majority. A constitutional amendment bill under Article 368 needs to be passed by a special majority. So what is this a special majority? A combination of absolute majority plus 2/3 of the members present and voting. 2/3 of the members present and voting. So a constitutional amendment bill needs to be passed in Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha with a majority of the total membership of the house, that is absolute majority, and 2/3 of the members present and voting. But on the other hand, an ordinary bill needs to be passed by simple majority. An ordinary bill needs to be passed by a simple majority. So a majority of the members present and voting. More than 50% of the members present and voting. This is one difference. And then when it comes to the second difference, in case of disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with respect to a constitutional amendment bill, in case there is a disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with respect to a constitutional amendment bill, there is no provision for joint sitting. If one of the houses says no, the bill gets killed. Unless the two houses agree, a constitutional amendment bill cannot be passed. So this is the second difference. When it comes to ordinary bill, in case there is a disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with respect to an ordinary bill, there is a provision for joint sitting under Article 108. So the President can summon a joint sitting, and in the joint sitting, the Speaker presides over the joint sitting, and in the joint session of the Indian Parliament, the ordinary bill will be either accepted or rejected through simple majority. So that is the second difference. Then the third difference, with respect to an ordinary bill, the President can exercise pocket veto, that is, he can keep it pending without giving his assent, or he can send it for reconsideration. But when it comes to a constitutional amendment bill, the President shall give his assent. He cannot say no. He cannot keep it pending. He cannot send it for reconsideration. This is the third difference. In addition to this, there are federal provisions in the Indian Constitution. While amending the federal provisions of the Indian Constitution, a constitutional amendment bill which is meant for amending the federal provisions of the Indian Constitution needs to be passed by Parliament with a special majority, that is Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Separately, they have to pass a constitutional amendment bill related to federal provisions under Article 368 with a special majority. In addition to this, at least half of the state legislatures must also give their approval if the constitutional amendment bill is related to federal provisions. But the approval of the state legislatures is by simple majority. So I am repeating, a constitutional amendment bill which is meant for amending the federal provisions. What do you mean by federal provisions? If you want to amend the center-state legislative relations, if you want to amend the 7th schedule, if you want to amend the 7th schedule, the subjects in the 7th schedule, etc., a constitutional amendment bill which is meant for such things must be passed by Parliament with a special majority and at least half of the state legislatures by simple majority. So that's how an ordinary bill and a constitutional amendment bill differ in their passage in the Parliament. Thank you.